WP TV.
Welcome back to the desk. The basketball crew is here, and they have early predictions for some of the NBA's biggest awards. So let's get right into things. Dante, we'll start with you. Coach of the Year, who you got?
Well, first let's take a look at who is in the running for Coach of the Year. You know, the season's about a quarter of the way done, so it's never too early to look. We have Brad Stevens of the Celtics, Greg Popovich from the Spurs, Mike D'Antoni of the Rockets, and for Filip, we have Quinn Snyder of the Jazz. For me, it comes down to either Mike D'Antoni or Brad Stevens, and you could see similar records. D'Antoni, his Rockets team is better offensively, but if you look at the defensive rating, Brad Stevens has the best defense in the league with the Celtics, and I think for me that's what sets him apart. That's why I would pick him as my Coach of the Year. This Celtics team had a big hit at the start of the year when they lost Gordon Hayward, and they have just defied the odds, and they have had exceeded expectations completely. You know, fourth best three-point defense in the league, top 10 offensive rebounds allowed. You know, their defense is so on lock, they can compete with anybody no matter what the other team's offense is like.
I got to go with Mike D'Antoni because you saw with that graphic, they're top 3 in offense, top 5 in defense, and they're playing in one of the toughest conferences. Well, obviously there's 2 conferences, but you know, they're playing in the tougher conference. So I think Mike D'Antoni with James Harden, Chris Paul came back. They've been playing very good basketball. There's no other way to go than Mike D'Antoni. Going to go back-to-back 2-time Coach of the Year.
You know, when you look at it, Brad Stevens is doing all this. Everybody can say, well, he had a great team last year. There's only 4 returning players from the team last year. He's instilled his system so fast. And early on during free agency period, people were saying, well, could the Celtics, you know, could they contend? And it came down to me to how Brad Stevens would fit him in this system. And he's fit him in perfectly, even with Gordon Hayward being out.
Filip?
Yeah, the biggest problem I see with all your discussions is I'm picking my pick for Coach of the Year, not Team of the Year. What Quinn Snyder is doing with his team right now, going on a 5-game winning streak against tough teams without Rudy Gobert, no Joe Johnson, no Raul Neto, no Rodney Hood, it's amazing. This guy, he has the 6th best defense in the entire league without the Stifle Tower. No Rudy Gobert, and he's still setting up the best defense in the league. And he has guys like Thabo Sefolosha, Donovan Mitchell, a rookie, coming in, guys like Jonas Jerebko getting solid minutes. He's really turning a bunch of nothings into somethings.
And yet they're still 500. Yeah, the Celtics went on a 16-game winning streak without the captain.
No stars on the team, except for maybe Rudy Gobert. But even without him, they were winning games. He turned Derek Favors into a great defensive starting center. Favors, a great defensive starting centers. Those 3 words I've never heard anyone use to describe Derek Favors.
I've never heard anyone say that Kyrie Irving can play defense, but Brad Stevens hasn't played
really
defense.
He has a solid defense surrounded around Kyrie Irving. Kyrie just needs to show up on defense. He really just needs to show up, nothing more.
But you got to look at Jonas Jerebko coming out of Boston, so he's already taking that Brad Stevens system switching over to Quinn Snyder's system.
I don't want to hear that.
So, I mean,
he's still a role player. He's turning Thabo into a great player again. Thabo
was already good. He was coming from Oklahoma City, then went to Atlanta, and now he's in
Atlanta. Now he's practically useless. He's once again a crucial defender.
He was always good, but Mike Budenholzer wasn't even using him that way in Atlanta.
All right, switching over to maybe a lighter subject. The most improved player of the year, someone on the brink of becoming a superstar possibly. Steven, who do you have?
Well, as we can see in the graphic, we got the top 4 candidates. My pick, personally, is going to be Kristaps Porzingis from the New York Knicks. As you can see, we got Kristaps coming in at 25 points per game. And then we got Victor Oladipo, Jaylen Brown, and Aaron Gordon all showing up for their team, all doing very well, all in the Eastern Conference, by the way. And if you take a look at Kristaps' numbers from last year, he's still having around the same numbers as this year. But, you know, you take guys off like Derrick Rose, who's put in 18 points, Melo, who's a 20-plus point per game scorer, and now he's putting out 25 points per game. Rebounding is a little less, blocking is about the same, but he's turning into a huge superstar. 7-3 from Latvia. There's no way that Kristaps can't win in Most Improved Player.
I don't mean to call anyone out, but did we prompt the wrong graphic?
No, that was the right one.
Are you sure? Because I'm missing Andre Drummond. Andre Drummond right now is, first off, he tripled his assist percentage. He's on pace to get more assists this season than he's gotten his entire career so far. He's become a great passer, leading the league in rebounds, career highs in defensive win shares, defensive box plus minus, both of which he's leading the league in right now. Easily the best defender in the league. Top in rebounds. This guy, other than any other guy on the list, besides maybe Porzingis, who's had a slump in his last few games, Drummond's making the step from stardom to superstardom. None of these guys are superstars.
I don't know. The only thing I can see that he's improved is his free throw percentage. Other than that, he can still put up a 20-20 game any night. He's always been able to do that.
Yeah, but now he's getting a consistent offense set in. He's become a great passing center. Andre Drummond, a great passing center.
All right, Filip, we'll keep it with you, our character of the desk. MVP, the most prestigious award in the NBA. Who do you have?
Well, I have none other than the guy who should have won it twice already, James Harden. I mean, if you look at the graphic of the guys who were up for MVP, James Harden #1 undoubtedly, and you have guys like LeBron James who's in it every year, Kyrie Irving finally getting his spot in the top 4, and Giannis Antetokounmpo, who's a breakout star, one of the best players in the league for sure. But James Harden, for me, #1 in scoring. Oh, and then you look at the team records of both teams. James Harden and LeBron are leading their teams to the two of the 3 best teams in the league right now. And the points per game and assists is what really stands out for James Harden for me. Because he's #1 in scoring in the league, #2 in assists. Those numbers we've never seen before. No one's ever done that.
What do you think?
You know, when you look at it, LeBron is clearly the best player in the league, but when it comes down to it, it doesn't always go to the best player. And James Harden, what he's done in Houston, everybody made a big deal about Chris Paul getting there. Chris Paul didn't play for around 15 games, and James Harden led them the entire time to that record without the second best player on the team. He's been in the argument the past 2 years. It's his time. You got to give it to him.
Dante?
Jesse, I like what you said about it's not always the best player. We talked about Steve Nash those couple of years. He won it for his leadership. Westbrook won it almost exclusively because of his stats. I think it has to do with the combination of stories in the league, and I think Giannis is the biggest story. He has stats comparable to Magic Johnson and Michael Jordan at the same age range.
But the same problem I had with Westbrook last year is I don't like the idea of a team that isn't a top-tier team having an MVP. Giannis' team record, he needs to be in the top 4 for me to suggest him being MVP.
I don't like it either, but the precedent in the NBA is that it could happen, too.
You need to be the most valuable player on a valuable team. You can't be a gold and a trash team. It just doesn't work like that. His team's not bad, but they need to be a contender for me to actually solidify him as an MVP candidate.
Wouldn't you argue, though, that maybe like James Harden, the Rockets have too many stars where, maybe his value is diminished because
his
people around
team only
him?
lost 4 games without Chris Paul, one of the best point guards in the league. He's carrying that team. He's been carrying them every year. He's the only true star on the team. Let's be real.
Steven?
I mean, I think you guys are really ignoring LeBron James. Like Filip said, he's in the running every single year, and he's been snubbed almost every single year. For the past couple of years, you got Steph Curry winning it twice, and you got other guys winning it. So I think it is LeBron's time to finally get back another MVP award.
LeBron always in the race. That's all we have for basketball, but do not go anywhere because up next, the hockey crew takes center ice just after the break.